And is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Second.
Motion to second, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Minutes approved. All right, department comments,
Got
Mr.
a
Mills.
stranger in the corner over here. Did you see him?
Oh my gosh, I didn't know.
He looked so much smarter than he did.
Name and address, please. All right, Mr. Mills.
Good afternoon, Council.
Afternoon.
We have 5 applications tonight.
got that
The
chair.
first one is a public hearing for James M. Mixon doing business as the bait shop. He's applying for retail beer off premises. That's the location right there beside I think it's the hardware store. Right across from Avalon Park, RV Park. My next application will be for Starner and Starner Enterprises. They're applying for a special event less than 7 days for the Signify Epsilon ABC tailgate scheduled for October 8th. That's the frat house right there behind the flag. The next application will be for the same group, Starner and Starner Enterprises, Signify Epsilon Alumni Weekend scheduled for October 21st and 22nd. Located same location, 304 University Boulevard. My fourth application is the Alabama Wildlife Federation. They're applying for a 240 special event nonprofit tax exempt license for the Wild Game Cook-Off held October 27th and 28th. And then the last one we have is for Downtown Entertainment LLC special event retail less than 7 days at L on Wheels at 4205 North Ridge Road.
Hell on wheels?
L on Wheels.
L.
Yes, sir. L.
What is that?
Can't answer that one. He'll be here tonight to answer that question for you.
That
And the
with,
two starters, those are on campus at
Yes, sir.
those sites, right?
Yes, sir.
that with the bait shop, he's wanting to sell beer. Is that
Just
right?
beer
And
only.
it's actually police jurisdiction.
And then you guys will realize, I mentioned the one for Alabama Wildlife, the 240 special event. That's a different license that state passed for nonprofits. We had one before, just to let municipalities know that they're going to be putting on an event, and it's not necessarily council approval, but for notification purposes.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Is that mic on?
Yes, sir, it is.
Any questions, Mr. Mills? Thank you, sir.
Yes, sir.
See you tonight. Mayor Maddox?
I don't have anything.
Really?
I figure we got a long after that. So.
It's it'd be like rocking the baby.
Rosemary's Day.
Yeah, Rosemary's baby.
Rosemary's
That's
Day.
That's what you.
Y'all, they don't know who Rosemary's
No, I don't
baby
know.
is.
I have no idea.
All you guys Google
About the
it.
exorcism.
Don't watch it. Mia Farrow.
Yeah, Google her too. All right. Nothing from the mayor. Any other department heads or anybody have any comments? Okay, Mr. Holmes.
Yes, sir. Good afternoon, council. You guys will have to bear with me. We've got a little bit of a long one to read through today. I will be starting towards the bottom of page 2 under those alcohol licenses, where you will be authorizing the mayor to execute a right-of-way use permit to York Street Investments LLC. That's on page 19 of your agenda. That came from projects last week. On page 20, you'll be authorizing an application to the U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development for the 2022 Grant Assistance for the Homeless Management Information System. That is doubled up, and you'll hear about it on CD committee this afternoon. On page 21, you'll be authorizing the purchase of equipment, supplies, or services from Stivers Ford. That is a total of $38,143. On page 22, you'll be authorizing the mayor to execute a service agreement with Comcast Business for various city facilities. That is a total of $58,208.80. That came from projects last week. On page 23, you'll be authorizing the mayor to sign a funding agreement with the Tuscaloosa County Road Improvement Commission for reimbursement on McWrights Ferry Road project. That's a total of $65,689,161.32. That is doubled up, and you'll hear about it on projects today. On page 24, you'll be authorizing the CFO to draw a draft for Phase 2 of the Juanita Drive Improvements Project property acquisition. This is a total of $28,360. On page 25, you'll be authorizing a contract with Flood Cleansing Inc., that's DBA Serve Pro, for $4,780. That was on projects last week. On page 26, you'll be authorizing a professional services contract with Volker Inc. for the Benjamin Barnes Branch YMCA project. That is a total of $454,200, and you heard about that projects last week. On page 27, you'll be authorizing a minor public works contract with John Wayne Plumbing and Drain Service. That's a total of $35,500, and you'll be hearing about that in projects today. On page 28, you'll be authorizing amendment number 1 to the contract with Paints on Us Plus. This is an amended contract amount of $11,000. That was on projects on the 13th. On page 29, you'll be authorizing amendment number 1 to the contract with McWilliams Repair, and that is an amended contract amount of $14,000. You heard about that in projects last week. On page 30, you'll be authorizing amendment 1 to the contract with Crimson Carpet and Flooring. That is an amended contract amount of $7,434. Again, you heard about that in projects last week. On page 31, you'll be authorizing a minor public works contract with ABBA Contract Inc. That's for $3,785, and you heard about that in projects last week. On page 32, you'll be authorizing amendment number 3, the 2019A warrant series budget. That was in finance last week.
Hey, Scott, before you
Yes,
go on, where is the Saban Center office?
The Saban Center office is on the 3rd floor of the annex on this southern end here, I believe.
Okay, so it's here.
Yes, sir. It's up here when you would come in that the flyway over from the parking deck. I believe on page 33, authorizing amendment number 14 to fiscal year 2022 general fund reserve for future improvements. That is on finance today. On page 34, you'll be authorizing amendment number 10 to the fiscal year 2022 water and sewer reserve for future improvements budget. That was on finance last week. On pages 35 through 36, you'll be authorizing the mayor to execute agency funding contracts for calendar year 2023. That is a total of $12,675,536.95. That is doubled up and is on finance committee today. On page 37, you'll be authorizing the mayor to execute agency funding contracts for calendar year 2023. This is the Elevate agency funding. That's a total of $1,466,923, and that is also on finance today. On pages 38 through 39, you'll be establishing the fiscal year 2023 general fund reserve for future improvements fund budget, and that is on finance today. On page 40, you'll be establishing the fiscal year 2023 water and sewer reserve for future improvements fund budget, and that is in finance today. On pages 41 through 42, you'll be authorizing amendment number 5 to the 2022 Elevate Tuscaloosa Fund budget. That is on finance today. Was on finance last week, I'm sorry. On page 43, you'll be authorizing amendment number 15 to the fiscal year 2022 general fund budget. That was on finance last week. On page 44, you'll be authorizing amendment 5 to the fiscal year 2022 water and sewer fund budget. That was on finance last week. On page 45 through 47, you'll be adopting fiscal year 2023 general fund budget. That is doubled up, and you'll hear it on finance today. On page 48 through 49, you'll be adopting fiscal year 2023 water and sewer fund budget. Again, that is doubled up, and we'll discuss it in finance today. On page 50 through 51, you'll be establishing the 2023 Elevate Tuscaloosa Fund budget. Again, that one is doubled up and will be on finance today. On page number 52, you'll be amending section 19-42 Exhibit C of the Code of Tuscaloosa to provide a cost of living adjustment for fiscal year 2023, and that is on finance today, doubled up. On page 53, you'll be amending section 2-46A1 of the Code of Tuscaloosa. Again, that is on finance today and is doubled up. On pages 54 through 60, you'll be amending the Code of Tuscaloosa related to water and sewer rates for fiscal year 2023. And again, that one will be discussed in finance today. On pages 61 through 62, you'll be amending section 16-90 and 16-156 of the Code of Tuscaloosa regarding solid waste collection and service charges. And again, that one is in finance today. On pages 63 through 64, you'll be amending section 19-45B of the Code of Tuscaloosa, suspending pay plan step raises for fiscal year 2022 and 2023. And you'll discuss that in finance today. And I think that brings me to the end of my list. I do believe we have one item for executive session this afternoon.
Okay, any questions for Mr. Holmes? Okay, got a, as you know, full day. Projects 2:30, finance 3:15, admin 4, community development at 5, and council at 6. ZBA meets Monday. I don't know about you guys, but there's a lot of short-term rentals on the agenda in my district, I know. Too many. By the way, I guess Scott, I need to ask you this. I've gotten some some valid concerns about short-term rentals. More people seem to be finding out about it, in neighborhoods that haven't experienced before. And Ashley, can we have a discussion sometime to talk about how we got to where we are now and look at some possible tweakings?
Absolutely.
There have been some things that have been really concerned to me that have been said by some from the ZBA. I'm not saying they're wrong, but I don't know, but anyway, could we do that? And, because I don't know if would y'all like to do that so we can all be on the same page about the short-term rentals and maybe look at some possible changes?
Sure, I think that's very much so needed.
Yes.
Yes, sir.
I thank you for that, because I do too. It had taken up most of my weekend.
We'll take up whatever you put in front of us.
That's right, that's right. And so overall, the experience has been good, but when it's bad, it's bad.
I have one in my neighborhood and it's real good.
Yeah.
But I do know there's some bad.
Well, I found in some cases, short-term renters are better than long-term.
Yeah.
And
Oh, yeah.
in some cases, but at the same time, people are frightened by it.
They don't understand what's
too.
going on. I think it's some of it.
Yeah. So if we could, Ashley, if you get together and let's
Absolutely.
find a time we could do that.
Maybe
Or bring
like
it.
a special call admin or something along those lines.
Okay. Would that be okay with you, Mr. Bell? This is another meeting.
I know.
Okay. Is there a motion we go into executive session?
Second.
Have a motion and second, Mr. Holmes?
Yes, sir. As your attorney and an attorney licensed to practice law in the state of Alabama, I can confirm that this executive session is to discuss security plans, procedures, assessments, measures, or systems, or the security or safety of persons, structures, facilities, or other infrastructures, including without limitation, information concerning critical infrastructure, the public disclosure of which could be reasonably be expected to be detrimental to public safety or welfare.
Okay, have motion second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Okay, if you're